Hey everyone, I'm Adrian and I am trying to make a food forest planner. And I should probably say right away, I don't really know how to code. So this is not gonna be a channel where I teach programming or where I pretend to be some kind of technical expert. That is not really the story here. The story is more like I became fascinated by food forests, and the more I learned about them, the more I realized how beautiful they really are, but also how overwhelming they can truly be to plan. A few years ago, I studied biology for a while. I didn't end up getting a degree, and honestly, a lot of the details are rusty by now. But I think some part of me never really lost interest in living systems. For a while, that interest was kind of in the background. Then I discovered food forests, and it brought something back. Suddenly, biology didn't feel like just memorizing terms or preparing for exams. It felt alive again. It was about relationships between plants, insects, soil, fungi, sunlight, water, and time. It reminded me why I cared in the first place. And I think that's part of why this project has stayed with me. Because a food forest is not just put a few trees in the ground. It's layers, it's time, it's sunlight, it's shade that changes over years. It's roots underground, it's harvest seasons, it's plant relationships, it's path, access, maintenance, soil, water, climate, and all these small decisions that connect to each other. For a long time, this idea didn't really exist anywhere outside my head. I didn't have a garden to film, or notebooks full of designs, or years of documentation. It was mostly a feeling and a question. Why does planning something this beautiful have to feel so hard to start? I could imagine it, I could read about it, I could watch videos about it. But when I tried to actually design something, even hypothetically, I kept running into the same feeling. Where do I even start? Eventually, I started talking it through, and little by little, it turned into something more concrete. I started wondering why there isn't a tool that helps with this in a more visual and beginner-friendly way. Not a tool that magically designs a perfect ecosystem for you. I don't think that's realistic. Certainly not for now, but something that helps you think. Something that lets you place plants, understand their mature size, see how they might interact, think about layers, and slowly build a design without needing to hold every single detail in your head at once. That's the idea behind the Food Forest Planner. And at the moment, it's still early. It's not ready to be this polished, public tool that anyone can use. I would like it to become accessible to everyone eventually, because that's really the point. If it can help people, I want people to be able to use it. But right now, I think the more honest thing is to share the process. Not from the perspective of, look, I know exactly what I'm doing. More from the perspective of, this is something I care about. This is what I'm learning. And maybe other people care about it as well. Since I don't have a real food forest to film yet, the visuals in these videos will probably be mostly the planner itself, like you can see now. You will see me moving plants around, testing layouts, changing ideas, and using the tool as a way to think through the problem. And I actually think that fits the project, because this started as something invisible. It was just an idea in my head for a long time. Now, slowly but surely, it's becoming something I can see, test, change, and share with you guys. Part of why I want to make these videos is because I know there are people out there with real experience. People who have planted food forests, worked with permaculture design, made mistakes adapted to their land, and watched things grow over years and maybe even decades. I would love to learn from that because I can research and I can imagine and I can build a planning tool around those ideas. But there's a kind of knowledge that only comes from actually doing it. I don't want to pretend I have that knowledge yet. So maybe this can become a conversation. I can show what I'm thinking about, what the tool looks like, what problems I'm trying to solve, and if they're even real problems. And people who know more than me can say, actually, in practice, that works a little different. Or, this is something beginners always miss. Or, here's what I wish I had known before planning and planting. That kind of feedback would be incredibly valuable. And even if you're also a beginner, maybe following along could still be very useful to you. Because I think a lot of us are drawn to the same dream. A garden that feels alive, a place that produces food but also habitat. Something beautiful, something useful, and something long-term. But the path from inspiration to actual design can feel a bit foggy. So this project is my attempt to make that fog a little easier to move through. In future videos, I want to talk about the ideas behind the planner. What makes food forest design difficult? What I'm learning about plant layers and spacing, and also the more personal side of why this actually matters to me. I might show parts and functions of the tool as it develops, but again, this is not going to be a programming channel. I will just show you the visuals. It's more of a can we make food forest planning feel less overwhelming channel. And maybe, eventually, when I do have the opportunity, I would love to put some of this into practice in the real world. For now, this is just a starting point. I'm building a food forest planner, even though I'm not a programmer, but because I wanted this tool to exist. And if you have experience with food forests, permaculture, agroforestry, or even just planning a garden that felt too complex at first, I would really love to hear from you. What do you think beginners most often underestimate when planning a food forest? That's the question I will leave with you. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next one.